I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. Repeating back what your client just said word for word is one of the most frustrating and unhelpful things you can do as a coach. They know what they said. They were there. And yet, this is exactly what many coaches are taught to do under the banner of active listening. So let's unpack what's actually going on here and what ICF really wants you to do instead. Here's what happens. Coaches learn that reflecting back is important, and it is. But then they take that to mean repeating the client's words verbatim. The client shares something meaningful, and the coach responds with, "So what I'm hearing is," and then basically says the same thing back. The client knows what they just said. They don't need you to repeat back to them word for word, sentence for sentence, everything they just told you. They're not going to learn anything from that. And honestly, it's frustrating for them. It can even feel patronizing, like you're checking a box rather than truly engaging with what they shared. So let's look at what ICF actually says about this. The marker tells us to reflect or summarize what the client is communicating. And here's the key phrase: to ensure clarity and understanding. Notice what's not there. It doesn't say to prove you were paying attention. It doesn't say to demonstrate your listening skills. The purpose is clarity and understanding. And here's what you need to sit with. The client already understands what they said. The question is, what else is there to understand? What's underneath those words that hasn't been brought into the light yet? So why do coaches do this? Usually what I found is that when coaches are parroting, what they're actually doing is filling the space so they can think of the next question. Your client finishes speaking and you're not quite sure what to ask next. So you buy yourself some time by repeating back what they said. It feels like active listening. It looks like engagement, but it's actually an illusion of value. You're creating the appearance of processing without doing any actual processing. And your client can feel that. So here's the alternative, and it might feel uncomfortable at first. If you need time to think, use silence instead. It's much more effective. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you have as a coach. When you pause after your client speaks, something remarkable often happens. They keep talking. Because here's the thing, often the client wasn't actually finished. They were just taking a breath. And when you jump in with a parrot response, you cut off whatever was coming next. But when you hold that space, they go deeper. They say the thing they weren't sure they were going to say. That's where the real coaching happens. Let me give you a concrete example. Your client says, "I'm feeling overwhelmed by all the projects on my plate right now." The parroting response would be, "So you're feeling overwhelmed by all the projects on your plate?" That adds nothing. You've just used up 10 seconds of session time to repeat what they already know. The better approach? Pause. Hold the silence. Often they'll continue, and I think part of it is that I don't know how to say no to my boss. Now you're somewhere. That's the real conversation. And it only emerged because you didn't fill the space with their own words. Let me name a few patterns I see all the time. First, using reflection as a stalling tactic. If you notice yourself parroting while you figure out what to ask next, that's your cue to try silence instead. Second, believing that repeating words proves you're listening. It actually shows the opposite. It shows you're not processing deeply enough to offer something more valuable. And third, giving long, detailed summaries that eat up precious session time. Your client paid for this hour. Don't spend 5 minutes of it telling them what they already told you. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Your job isn't to repeat content, it's to reflect essence. The client doesn't need you to prove you were listening. They need you to illuminate what's underneath their words, the patterns, the emotions, the assumptions they haven't examined yet. That's where the value lives. So if you're not supposed to parrot their words back, what are you supposed to reflect? That's exactly where we're headed next.